My beloved child, you are standing before a threshold which once crossed leaves no way back. Though I have reached out my hand again and again to pull you from the talons of darkness, you still turn your face away. He, the one who never knocks, has long been inside your house, seated in that shadowed corner you call normal. Do not delay another second, for this moment may be your last with strength enough to turn around. I see you fumbling in chains you fastened with your own hands, crying out why no one comes to save you. You complain of the weight of night, yet each day it is you who cracks the little door to let the darkness seep in. The price you pay is not in one great fall, but in each small concession, each step away from me taken without a backward glance. When you open the door to darkness yourself, the devil need not break in, he is invited. One unbridled word of anger, one caustic thought left unconfessed, one desire you call harmless, these become his lawful papers of entry. Sin does not always begin with some grand deed. It slides through the narrowest gap by permission, and then link by link the chain is forged. Compromise by compromise, the shackles take shape until you cannot take a step without hearing iron clatter in your heart. From Eden until now, he has had no need to change his strategy, only his disguise. Then he asked, "Did God really say?" And today he whispers the same question into your ear through social feeds, media, friends, and even your own emotions. You are drawn to what can be seen, grasped, and controlled, trading obedience for self-sovereignty, and receive in exchange only emptiness, anxiety, and a nameless shame each night. You think yourself strong enough to prevail, good enough to forego forgiveness, clear-sighted enough to never lose your way. This is when the invisible fetters have locked around you. Pride rarely appears in a snarl. It wears the garments of confidence, self-reliance, and even piety. I watched a third of the heavenly host fall by it, and today I watch human souls drift from the light because they cannot humble themselves to ask for mercy. Do not think only great gates need guarding. It is the smallest cracks that admit him fastest. A single bitter word loosed in anger, a nod that allows desire to grow in secret. These are not mere acts, they are a yes to the dark, and so day by day the chain is tempered. Your spirit grows heavy, your sleep unsettled, your heart crowded by things unsaid, unconfessed, unrenounced. The devil need not batter your door, you have left it ajar for long. He merely strolls in, offering a little passing ease bartered for your lasting freedom. Child, some things seem light yet weigh the heart down. Some things seem fleeting yet become the root of every shackle. No one becomes a prisoner of shadow in a single night. It is that day by day you give him room to lodge within. A sentence tossed in anger and left unmade right. A glance that feeds envy and will not be admitted. A single indulgence you call just this once, each becomes a clasp. Chains do not fall from the sky. They are forged from those fragments you dismiss as no big deal. And when you finally notice, it is too late to run without hearing the clamor of iron within. I do not come to accuse, but you must know this darkness needs no crowbar if you leave a crack each day, and he will not leave until you choose to close it. I once saw a man who carried two keys, one to open his home and one to open the path for darkness to enter. His name was Cain. He did not kill Abel in a sudden frenzy. First came the days his heart nursed grievance, jealousy, and a crooked view of righteousness. I warned him, sin is crouching at the door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Genesis 4:7. But Cain was not watchful. He opened the door, and the hand formed to offer sacrifice became a murderer's hand. So it is with you. If you do not keep your heart, the small permissions you grant will become a prison system from which you yourself do not know how to escape. You ask why your heart grows heavier, why prayer sheds no light, why my word no longer reaches you as before. I will tell you plainly, your heart is filled with too much else. No soul can worship me with its whole being. while still reserving chambers for bitterness, lust, and deceit. When you let dark thoughts wander unchallenged, he has a claim. When you say just once more, he is present. When you choose silence instead of repentance, he remains. I have never withdrawn mercy, but I cannot set light where you still seat the dark in comfort. The key is still in your hand, not to prop the door open, but to close it. Do you think what is hidden is invisible to me? I see all, not to indict you, but to deliver you. Concealed sin does not die, it only grows in darkness. And growing it demands more: your time, your energy, your peace, even your identity. The more you feed it, the more weary you become. The more you hide, the less you remain yourself. I hear your sighs at night. I see your eyes avoid the mirror. You need not live this way, but to be free you must stop. You must speak, you must confess, and you must shut that little door now. I know you are tired of fighting. But know this, he need not fight you. He only needs you to surrender a little each day. Therefore, I do not come to tell you, try harder, but to call you home. Let me do what you cannot. Only open your mouth, speak to me, even in weakness. Let me touch the place you believed beyond healing. With one step, chains will cease to be chains. The door once opened to darkness will be sealed by the blood. Do not wait until emptiness feels familiar. Do not mistake my quiet for your inability to hear. Do you see, the devil need not shout to enter. He only needs you to stop keeping watch. Then the small compromises, the times you keep silent before sin, the moments you choose what is easy over what is right, become fertile ground for him to remain. I know you did not intend this, but sin does not require intention to be born, it requires neglect. I ache when I see you condemn yourself, but I ache more when you refuse the forgiveness already prepared for you. Chains will not snap by themselves, but at one cry from your heart, I will come and break them. Do not wait until the chains feel like a part of you and you name them fate. I did not make you for bondage. You were fashioned for freedom. Freedom within holiness, not license. If you feel far from me, it is not that I have gone. It is that the small door you opened to something else now stands wide. Close it. Let me come in again. You will find nothing lighter than living with nothing to hide from your Father. And from that very moment I will lead you out from the cell built by yesterday's little choices to the path of light, no longer threatened by shadow. Some things cannot be put off any longer. A crack unmended becomes a breach. A spark unquenched becomes a blaze. A self-deceiving word becomes an identity. That is why today I say to you, do not take another step in compromise. Stop, return. And once you learn to recognize the enemy who needs no scratching at the door to gain entry, you will also begin to see how the sweetest words are often the same old bait in newer wrapping. If you are ready to step away from the door you once opened to the dark, then it is time to recognize this too. Whatever he sets out, however new it appears, is only an old trick retied. And I will teach you to discern each snare hidden beneath its polished veneer. My child, I know you think yourself vigilant enough not to be caught, but not every trap makes a sound. Some are lined with silk set on banquet tables dusted with honey. He, the one who from the beginning is the father of lies, has never changed his tactic. He merely recolors the package and renames the bait. Do not suppose that because you know much of the word he will cease to sow doubt. Those who know the word are his favored targets, for if he can twist a sentence or distort a thought, you will have already taken a half step away from me. That day in the pure Garden of Eden, he carried no sword or spear. He needed no force, for he knew the battle begins with words. Did God really say? He whispered. And with a single question mark, he opened the way to ages of sorrow. Child, doubt is the thinnest blade. It severs the tie between you and me before you notice the cut. He sows the question, but you water it with your reasoning, your feelings, and your confidence in yourself. With one moment of placing yourself above my word, you begin to see everything through a bent lens. Sometimes you think I'm only weighing things, not doubting. But child, true faith does not need to see in order to believe. When you let your intuition, your senses, and your own reasoning take the place of obedience, you quietly hand the reins back to yourself and no longer let me be king. The enemy doesn't have to yank you away from me in some obvious way. He only has to make you think I know enough. I understand. I'll choose for myself. Then he doesn't need to push you, will step down on your own. Little by little, obedience turns into management and trust is replaced by control. He is patient. He waits until you are worn out by promises you haven't yet seen fulfilled, until your prayers feel unanswered, until you begin to ask, does God really love me? Right then he offers what looks reasonable, a quicker fix, a shorter shortcut, piece of worldly counsel that sounds wiser than my word. But they all share one thing: they pull you away from me, little by little. His promises to know more, to get more, to be freer, are only wrappers for the same endings: shame, striving, and unrest. Do you remember David? An anointed man full of the Holy Spirit, singing praises to me day and night. Yet one afternoon on a rooftop he let his eyes linger too long, and that stain marked his life. The enemy did not destroy David with sword or spear, but with a gaze. It began with compromise over something that seemed harmless, and ended in blood and tears. Child, not everything good comes from me, and not everything that makes you feel comfortable is the right direction. There are things he allows you to keep only to trade away what is most precious, your peace. When you start to question what I have already confirmed, you are standing at the crossroads of darkness and light. Do not panic. I am not afraid of your questions so long as you bring them to me and not to the enemy. I am not angry at your weakness so long as you are weak in my arms. But child, do not let your heart write the laws of your faith. The heart is easily swayed, and he knows how to plant the subtlest whispers there. One of the clearest signs you are being deceived is this: you begin to justify what you used to call sin. You soften the words, you recount your circumstances, you compare yourself with others, all to make what is wrong feel easier to bear. Slowly, holiness stops being your aim and becomes a burden. You stop praying because you feel fine. You stop confessing because you think it's unnecessary. In that very place you have fallen exactly where he wants you, where obedience becomes negotiable. I know that in this world many voices will sway you. They promise freedom, fame, knowledge, success. But child, anything you have that did not come from me carries a hidden string. He will pull it back at a cost far greater than you can imagine. Do not trade eternal life for a moment of glory. He never names the price, he only shows the prize. But I paid the price with blood, so you would wear no chains again. Do not return to the place from which you were rescued. He knows your weakest point, not because he is all-knowing, but because you have revealed it in your stumbles, in your daily choices. He studies you. He is more patient than you. And he never stops casting bait, only changing the wrapping each day. But I know your whole heart, even what you haven't spoken. Let me teach you to discern what is true and what is counterfeit. Let my word expose the old tricks, even when they come dressed in modern shine. If you have ever fallen for sweet bait, you do not need to be ashamed today. Come back to me, and let me remove one by one the hooks that have sunk deep into your soul. Let me wash you with the truth of my word, the only thing that does not change amid 1,000 deceptions. Do not live under fear because of past frauds. Begin again in the light with open eyes and a sober mind. For when you walk in the light, he cannot stay. And when you stand in the truth, every tactic, old or new, loses its power. Sometimes the way he keeps you is not by chains, but by making you think you don't need to return. Yet I tell you, take a single step and I will run to you. You do not need to know every lie, you only need to know the truth. And the truth is, I still love you. I still wait for you, and I still stand with open arms at that crossroads. Turn around and keep walking, not with doubt, but with the assurance that I will lead you through every shadow if you will walk with me. Do you know what makes a watchful soul? Not that they never stumble, but that they learn to recognize the bait before they bite. And for that you need one thing, the very thing the enemy fears most: humility. Few are willing to keep it, for it requires you to look within and bow low. Are you willing to learn it again? For when you learn to kneel, that is when you stand firmest. There are shackles that need no iron yet weigh the soul down. People often fear the dark, but few stay alert to false light. And there is a darkness wrapped in radiance pride. It does not batter the door like anger or howl like lust, but it quietly builds a wall between you and me. It dries out your heart, lowers your hands, and turns your gaze from me inward to yourself. Because it makes no sound, you imagine it isn't there. Pride often wears the robes of stability, discipline, and a mature faith. But child, if your heart no longer feels the need to repent, if prayer has become mere routine, if my word no longer tears anything open within you, then the chain of pride has already tightened. It is not that you have abandoned me. It is that you hold yourself at a distance from me. Not because you lack reverence, but because you think you are good enough, close enough, strong enough, that you need not bow any further. I remember one who fell into the abyss, though he was not far from the light. He was among the brightest of angels, yet he wanted to rise above the place I had given him. It was not for lack of love, but because his heart no longer found me sufficient. A single "I will," sounding in his depths, was enough to shake heaven. Do you see, pride is the one sin that can form amid glory, holiness, and my manifest presence. It needs no evil environment, only a heart that forgets who is truly Lord. Here is something I see clearly, that many do not. Pride makes people glad to speak of grace, but reluctant to repent. It makes them willing to teach, serve, and give, as long as no one touches the wound inside. You begin to believe I am only the giver of gifts, and no longer a father who disciplines. Then your heart closes to whatever displeases you. Counsel feels like attack, trials feel like injustice, and you choose avoidance over the mirror. Do not be surprised if at times your spiritual life feels stuck. It is not that I am far, but that you are no longer drawing near. You spin within a safe zone, a cycle of regular doing without real breaking. Pride makes you fear being weak before others, and then leads to distance in secret with me. You no longer pray, as at first, no longer tremble when you sin, no longer ache for a lost soul. It is not that you changed direction, it is that you stood still, assuming you were close enough to heaven. But child, I have never despised a broken heart. I do not look at achievements. I look at the posture of the heart. The one who bows before me, I have never forsaken. And only when you dare to face the truth about yourself do you truly begin again. Humility is the road of the strongest, not because they are unscarred, but because they know they need healing. I am not waiting for you to do something for me. I am waiting for you to confess, I cannot without the Father. Do not forget Peter, the one who swore he would never leave me, yet he denied me 3 times in a single night. I did not withdraw my call. I did not change the way I looked at him. Immediately after, I gave him a chance to be restored, not because he was good enough, but because he was broken enough. So it is with you. You may have gone too far, done many wrongs, shut many doors. But with one act of humility, one honest word, I will step in at once. No interrogation of your past, no rehearsing of your failures, only taking your hand and walking on with you. Have you ever wondered why you must control everything? Why you fear failure so much? Why you can no longer pray with the childlike simplicity you once had? It is because the throne of your heart has too many rulers. When pride reigns, you will not notice you are worshiping yourself, but the way you think, choose, and stand before me will reveal it. And when I am no longer at the center, even good things become hollow, no life left, no spirit. I do not want to be merely a part of your life. I want to be all of it, but I do not force my way in. I enter when you make room. And child, if today you hear my voice, do not delay. Open your heart. Speak the truth. Kneel not to put yourself down, but so I may lift you up. For only when you touch the ground will you feel the gentleness of my hand. I know this may be hard to receive, but if you still refuse to stop today, tomorrow will be no different from yesterday. Pride always tells you not yet. But child, the time to turn back is not someday, it is now. And if you hesitate, the enemy who knows how to wield your hesitation as a weapon will not stand still. There are things which if you don't do them now, you may never begin at all. My child, I have heard so many hearts whisper the same refrain. Tomorrow I'll repent. When I'm better, I'll come back. Let me finish this first. But do you know this? Every time you delay, he tightens the thin cord you cannot see. And when the light within begins to dim, you'll call it a habit, a phase, exhaustion. But in truth, that is the hour your heart is growing cold. Sin does not need you to choose it publicly. It only needs you to hesitate in choosing me. Delay always begins with the feeling that it's fine. You brush off a small stirring in your heart. You mute a gentle reminder in your mind, and little by little you grow accustomed to the silence of conscience. You haven't turned your back on me, you've only paused. But child, lingering too long is its own form of turning away, for the feet never truly stand still. They either move forward or drift back. I remember when I called Moses from the burning bush, he hesitated too. He pleaded that he was inadequate, that he had no voice, that he did not know the way. But I did not ask him what he possessed. I only said, I will be with you. Exodus 3:1-2. The issue has never been your preparedness, but my presence. You do not need to wait until you are ready to return. You need to return in order to be made ready. For if you insist on waiting until your heart is strong enough to run to the Father, you will spend your days circling the desert of your own making. The tomorrow you promise me may never arrive. Not because I take the chance away, but because you will slowly lose the sense that change is necessary. He, the enemy of your soul, does not need you to do evil. He only needs you to postpone the good. One day without prayer, one ignored conviction, one later whispered to a sacred nudge. These become the foundation stones of a fortress of darkness, and you will not notice until your heart no longer feels the need to come home. I called Jeremiah when he was still a child, not because he had finished his schooling, but because I needed his obedience now. There are things that are completed only when you begin them today. Grace is not a river that flows forever, whether you draw from it or not. There are holy instance hours when the Spirit stirs your heart. If you do not respond, they pass. And if you keep letting tomorrow handle tomorrow's work, one day, you will wake up in a day where no call is heard. Remember this, every step you take has a direction. There is no safe gray zone. You are either drawing nearer to the light or drifting toward the shadows. It may not be by great strides, but a small daily neglect can lead you very far from me. Do not let silence stretch into distance. Do not let distance harden into emptiness, and do not let emptiness open into an abyss. Take a step back, even a trembling one, and you will find me standing where you left me. Are you waiting for a clear sign to turn around? But the fact that you can hear these words, the faint echo in your mind, even now the ache that pricks the deep, this is the sign. The call does not always thunder. Sometimes it is a whisper, soft yet persistent. And if you answer today, even with a whisper of your own Father, I am here, all heaven will tremble with joy. Do not fear that you will not manage it. Do not think you must have enough faith before you may draw near. It is precisely when you are not enough that I call you. It is because you are weak that I open my arms. Your strength does not precede your return. It is the reward for the one who dares to come back, and you will never be alone for every step of your homeward path I have prepared. and every old chain already has its key. Do you remember the prodigal? He squandered his wealth, lost his honor, and came home not for virtue's sake but because he was hungry. Yet what restored him was not the reason for his return, it was the decision to return. He did not need to wait until he improved. He needed only to rise, and while he was still far off, his father ran to meet him. So it is with you. Simply rise. I will handle the rest. Therefore, beloved child, if your heart is still stirred, if you can still hear my voice, do not delay. The door does not stand open forever. Time waits for no one, and sin never idles. Yet I am still here, and now is the favorable time. Now is the day of salvation, not tomorrow, but this very moment. And if you are ready to seize this moment, do not stop at turning back. Walk the whole road. For at the end of that road there is not only forgiveness, there is a restored identity waiting to be reclaimed. My child, I have not called you merely to warn and correct and then leave you by the wayside. Every stern word I speak hides within it a wide-open embrace. I did not create you to live in hiding nor redeem you so that you would go on as one rejected. The way out is not a metaphor, not something you must strain to find. It is already given plain, written in my very blood. If you have wandered, if you have spent long nights in flight, then this is the hour I bring you back to live the true identity I have bought back for you. Do not keep yourself forever in a state of about to. You do not need to wait for a supernatural feeling or a night of sobbing to be called restored. Restoration does not rest on emotion. It rests upon the blood. I paid the price before you ever thought of returning. Every debt has been settled. Every record of sin has been stamped forgiven. The accuser may still whisper into your ear, but he cannot touch you unless you believe his words more than my word. When I see the blood, I no longer see the sin. That is why Israel of old needed only to smear the lamb's blood on the doorposts, not to be seen, but to be kept under my gaze. The destroyer passed by not because they lived righteously, but because they were in the place of protection. So it is with you. When you are under the blood, you need not strain to prove your worthiness. You need only remain in humility, in dependence in the arms of the one who died in your stead. For the Lamb's blood still lives, still intercedes, for you still shields all who know they need covering. You ask me, how do I live a new life? While I still feel like the old, I say, let your new identity lead you, not your old feelings. Your identity is no longer tied to stains or to the names the world once pinned on you: failure, weakling, good for nothing. In me you are forgiven, called heir, beloved child. Do not live as a beggar at the gate when I have set a feast within. Do not let curses from former years eclipse the new name I have placed upon you. I do not merely want you to avoid sin, I want you to live, truly live. Not the cautious tightrope life of trying not to fall again, but a life abundant, free, powerful, and at peace. My word will be your safe boundary. My spirit will be your sustaining strength. And from there you are not only rescued, you are sent to draw others out of the darkness you yourself have walked through. This is your truest identity, not a victim, not a mere survivor, but a conqueror in my name. Look at Isaiah, who once cried, "Woe is me, I am undone, for I am a man of unclean lips." But when the seraph touched his lips with a live coal, he did not remain trembling. He answered at once, "Here am I, send me." No longer the unworthy, but the chosen. So with you. If today you will let the blood touch the most unclean part of your soul, you will no longer say, "I don't dare," but you will dare to live, to love, to obey, to become who you were meant to be under heaven's design. And do not forget, restoration is not only between you and me. It reshapes every relationship around you. Those you have hurt will see the change. Those who have despised you will see my glory resting on you. And you who once looked in the mirror with disappointment will begin to see a new person taking shape, courageous, light of heart, radiant. Not because you are impressive, but because you are under the blood, where failures no longer define you. From today on, let my word be the primary voice within you. When the enemy drags up the past, answer with the cross. When feelings say you are useless, answer with your identity. I am one shown mercy. When the past tries to surface, let the present under the blood press it down again. For the new life is not pretending to forget what happened, it is choosing to believe that the blood holds greater authority than all. Beloved child, live as one truly forgiven, for you truly are forgiven. Do not keep fleeing, my love, under the weight of shame. Let that love bring you out into the open, head lifted, smiling, to live the life of a redeemed child, not in theory, but genuinely daily, with every breath. For the life in the blood is a life that cannot be stolen. O child, delay no longer. Do not let this moment slip like sand through your fingers, for every breath you still draw, every echo of invitation you still hear within, is grace yet outstretched. Do not imagine you can wait until everything is in order before you come to me, for tomorrow does not belong to you, and time does not wait for a wavering soul. Here and now, in this very moment, I am standing amid your chaos, among the ashes of your collapses, within your fear, within the cold silence you think no one could understand. I am not waiting for you to be perfect. I am waiting for you to turn, for only when you step toward me does the miracle begin. You may think sin has carved itself into you like an indelible scar, that your soul is stained beyond cleansing, but child, the blood of my Son is strong enough to dissolve every trace of guilt and bright enough to shine to the very floor of despair's abyss. You are never so far that my hand cannot reach you. I am here within your very breath, in the tremor of your heartbeat, in the unspoken longing for mercy. I see the tears you hide. I hear your midnight sighs. I know the fears you dare not confess to anyone. I behold the battles you are straining to endure, and still I choose you. Among a multitude of souls I call you by name. My child, when you feel hollow after the revelry, when the laughter fades and leaves a throbbing silence, when in your sleep you dream of darkness chasing, you know that it is your soul speaking. The battle is still being fought, not somewhere far away, but within your own heart. Evil cannot win unless you let go. It cannot bind a redeemed soul unless that soul bows to it. The choice is still yours, always yours, light or shadow, freedom or bondage, me or him. There is no gray ground, no safe place between two worlds. Every thought you harbor, every word you release, every act that seems small is a brick on the road you are walking. And if you see that road has led you far away, do not despair. One step back, one whisper of my name in the silence, one surrendered breath through tears enough to shatter every chain. My child, the power of mercy is deeper than any abyss. You think your sins are a mountain, yet with a single word from me, they will vanish like smoke before the wind. You think the wound within can never heal, yet if you let me touch it, I will mend it with a light gentler than dawn. Do not fear your weakness, for in weakness my strength is made complete. Do not be ashamed of your falls, for the very place you went down will become the ground where I raise you up in glory. You need only dare to believe that I am great enough to love you, strong enough to save you, and near enough to hold you. I am not distant, as you imagine, not enthroned upon some cold peak of heaven. I am in every heartbeat, in every breath, in every second you are alive. When you weep, I bend to wipe your tears. When you are lonely, I sit beside you in silence. When you fail, I do not depart, I wait for you to recognize and return. Do not let this call pass like a breeze, for the next time you may no longer hear it. Darkness will make you deaf. Your heart will harden. And the most fearful thing is not that you sin, but that you cease to see sin as sin and no longer wish to come back. The devil does not need to seize your soul in a day. He need only teach you to delay. He makes you say just a little longer, makes you think you still have time. But my child, no one knows when the final hour will come. Run now. Do not look back. Do not wait for anyone to understand. For when a soul awakens, nothing is more precious than its return. I will welcome you, like the prodigal come home, not with reproach but with open arms. I will place a new robe on your shoulders, a ring upon your hand, for you have never ceased to be loved. Believe this, my child, for my son died that you might live, bore the scourge that you might be forgiven, carried the cross that you might be free. His blood was not shed in vain. It still flows, still calls, still breaks every chain. Each drop is a promise that nothing, no past, no failure can make me stop loving you. When you call upon his name, every prison quakes, every chain snaps, every demon bows and flees, for where my light is present, darkness cannot remain. My child, come, do not be afraid. Let me cover you beneath the shadow of my wings as a mother bird warms her young in the nest. I will raise a hedge of angels around you, and I will close the doors you unknowingly open to sin. I will wash you in living water, dry the wounds of your soul, and restore to you the peace the world cannot give and cannot steal. That peace is not mere quiet, but a gentle fire in the heart, a soft breath amid the storm, a steadfast trust, though everything else should fall. As you draw near to me, you will see this truth. It is not you who have been seeking me, but I who have long sought you. I have passed through many nights calling your name on the wind, waiting for you at the crossroads of your wandering. I have never abandoned you, even when you turned away. I have stood silent and patient as the sun keeps rising, though the clouds conceal it. And when you look back, you will see every pain that passed was the imprint of my steps carrying you. Every loss you endured was so you might learn the worth of true love. Now open your heart, speak, even if only in a whisper. I am here. I will hear. Call my name and you will sense a vast presence like a river of grace overflowing. Let me rewrite your story, not in sin but in hope, not in defeat but in resurrection. For when you return, the heavens will open, light will flood in, and a new chapter will begin, the chapter of forgiveness, of love, of true freedom. My child, run not to escape but to come home. Hurl yourself into the arms that await you. Let every chain fall, let every shadow dissolve. Do not fear, for I am life, I am light, I am the breath within your heart. Even now, if you will, I will turn night to morning tears, to laughter, and your weary soul into a place of rest. Come, my child, for my love never tires, and I have never ceased to call your name. My beloved child, do not keep your eyes fastened on the past, where wounds and faults crash again and again like waves on the shore. Lift up your head and look to me, the one who waits for you, arms extended in the midnight of your soul, calling your name above the clamor of the world. You need not wander any longer in that darkness. I am the light, the warmth, the place of rest after so many storms. All you have done, every misstep, every tear I have seen, I have known, and I do not despise you, nor do I abandon you. Rather, I love you more, for in that very weakness I see your need for me, for the love that never grows weary. You think you must be perfect to draw near, but no, I want you to come in the raw truth of who you are, with the stains you hide in your heart, for I do not loathe what is true. I only wish to cleanse, to heal, and to make new. My child, stop counting your sins. You will never have enough fingers to number them, but I can fill every fault to the brim with a love beyond your understanding. Count instead my mercy, love that never runs out, never grows tired, never stops, no matter how many times you turn away. Do not let shame make you silent, for silence is the road the enemy wants you to take. Let it become the force that drives you to me, like a frightened child running to a father's embrace. I am still there, not with a rod to punish, but with open arms and a gentle smile. What I desire is not your destruction, but your life true, deep, and free. I want you to step out of the prison of sin, of self-reproach, of despair, to know me, to walk with me, to shine again, as in the beginning when I made you for the light. You were not born to lose yourself in night, but to mirror my glory like a star in the sky. You were not molded for darkness, not for death, not for the evil one. You belong to me forever. This is your true home, the place where your true name is known, the identity you lost amid the world's noise. Do not fear the devil, for he is strong only when you forget me. Do not fear the powers of darkness. Fear rather the pride within the quiet assassin that kills your soul day by day. Pride cast him down, and pride keeps countless souls far from me. It whispers in your ear, I can save myself, I need no forgiveness, I am not so bad. But that is the voice of chains of blindness, of the swollen self that feeds the enemy within. Humility, my child, humility is the true strength. It breaks every power of darkness, opens heaven's door, and leads you into the light. Humility is the key that unlocks peace. Kneel not in humiliation, but in the true freedom of a child coming home. Speak to me, tell me everything, for I listen not to condemn, but to heal. When you bow low, the chains will fall. When you yield, the weight upon your shoulders will lift, and peace, like a cool, clear stream, will flow through your heart. Time is short, and every moment is precious. Do not wait for tomorrow, for this very instant is wholly the moment I am nearest to you. I am not far, I am nearer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat, closer than your own thoughts. I am in this very room, in the soft light slipping through the door's edge, in the warmth upon your skin, in the whisper of the wind, in the hush between heartbeats. My spirit covers you. My angels keep watch, and the enemy trembles. He knows you are listening. He knows you are opening your heart, and his power is ebbing away. He cannot stop what I am doing, cannot silence. My call cannot touch what you entrust to me. Therefore, my child, hand it all over your heart, your fears, your sins, your sorrows, even the things you do not understand. Let me bear them, and I will give you myself. Where I am, there is freedom, there is life, there is love without end. Do not fear losing, for when you lose yourself in me, you find again your true self, clear and eternal. Do you know this? From all eternity, I have chosen you. Before you were born, I knew your name and inscribed your story upon the palm of my hand. You are not an accident upon this earth. Every step, wayward or holy, lies within the loving plan I have cherished for you. You think yourself lost, yet I am there still, watching each breath. When you cry, I quietly wipe your tears with grace. When you fall, I stoop not to accuse, but to lift. I do not grow weary of you, nor am I disappointed in you, for I know the good still hidden within that wounded heart. My child, what grieves me is not the sin you commit, but that you flee from me, that you think you are no longer loved. I am love itself, and true love has no limit. It does not calculate, does not keep a ledger of wrongs, does not set conditions. It only gives, and the more it gives, the more it overflows. The farther you wander, the more I long to draw you near. The weaker you are, the more I desire to be your strength. The deeper your pain, the more I want to gather you into my arms. Do not run anymore, for you have nothing to prove before me. Only let your heart grow soft. Let the tears fall, for they are the beginning of healing. Let your heart be broken, for only a broken heart can be filled with light. When you have no strength left, that is when I act for you. When you cannot see the way, I will be the lamp to your feet. When everything around you collapses, I will still be there, steadfast and unchanging. Don't think that I demand perfection of you. What I seek is a true heart, a small whisper. Lord, I need. You is worth more than 1,000 lovely rites without a soul. Slow your steps, child, and let me walk beside you. Let every breath become a prayer, every glance a word of gratitude, every deed a way you love this world, back with the very love you receive from me. I have looked upon you in your most desperate moments, when you thought there was no way out. Yet you did not know that when you collapsed, I knelt beside you, laid my hand upon your shoulder, and quietly said, "This is a new beginning. There is no depth so deep that my grace cannot reach it. There is no sin my love cannot wash clean. There is no heart too hardened for me to bring to life again. My child, believe this. Faith is not understanding everything. It is daring to place yourself in my hands, even when you see nothing. Let me lead you through the night, for only I know where the dawn breaks. Let me teach you to love, to forgive, to live with a free heart. Let me turn your wounds into a wellspring of comfort for others, so that you become a witness to my mercy in this world. When you are in me, nothing can separate us. The storm cannot drown you, the fierce fire cannot consume you, the words of others cannot shake you. You will stand firm, not by your own strength, but on the foundation of my love. Then the light within you will shine not with a glare that boasts, but with a gentle warmth that softens and consoles other souls. Do not fear the road ahead, narrow and rough, as it may be, for I go before you. Do not tremble at the sound of darkness calling your name, for I have called you by another, by the name of light, by the name of hope. Whenever you are weak, remember that I am strong within you. Whenever you fall, let me raise you up. Whenever you weep, trust that your tears are not in vain. They water the new life that will rise within your heart. My child, the world will change, but my love never changes. People may forget or abandon you, but I will not. However far you run, I will seek you. However tightly you close your heart, I will stand there and knock softly. I will not impose or coerce, but I will not cease calling, until you hear, until you return, for in my heart you always have a place. This is your way out, the lifeline I have lowered into the deep sea of your soul. Take hold of it, even if your hands tremble, even if you are afraid, take hold, for I will never let go. When you trust and surrender, the miracle begins, not the loud miracle, but the quiet transformation, where the darkness slowly dissolves, where a steady peace begins to glow, where the heart learns to smile even before all the pain has passed. You were made for light, for love, for life, for me. Do not forget this, for only when you live in that meaning do you truly live. Rise, my child, and walk. I am here nearer than your breath, and I will go with you to the very end of every road. Beloved child, you have long thought yourself weak, but true strength is not in muscle or in the world's applause. It dwells in a spirit upheld by my love. When you collapse in weariness, when your hands tremble from lost direction, it is I who lift you with the hands once marked by nails for your sake. You do not realize that in the very moments when life seems spent, you are being forged to endure, so that the light within you grows stronger than any darkness that would cover it. You think yourself forgotten, yet among the countless souls in this world, your name remains there, engraved upon the palms of my hands, an indelible seal. I do not forget you, not a single hidden tear nor a sigh in the night. Each time you call, even with only a breath, I hear you. You are not a faint name lost in the stream of life. You are a singular melody in the symphony of eternity. I love you not because you are perfect, but because in your imperfection I behold the beauty I placed within you from the beginning. You still imagine that the past defines you, that mistakes and wounds have locked your future inside the cage of guilt. Understand this, the past is only one shard within the vast mosaic of grace. My blood was poured out to cleanse every stain, that you might walk in freedom and not in shame. Do not let memories of your missteps steal the joy of being my child. I have canceled your debt with my own inexhaustible love. Whenever you remember the past, remember also that I have turned the worst of it into the raw material of the most beautiful. You are no longer defined by what happened, but by the one who saved you and called you out of darkness into a light that never goes out. You think that darkness owns you, that sin and sorrow are chains unbreakable. Not so, you belong to me, the one who shattered every chain and dissolved the night with the dawn of new life. Darkness cannot possess the soul I ransomed with my very blood. Whenever fear rises, remember that my light still shines. Even the smallest ray is enough to drive back an entire sky of gloom. You are no longer a victim. You are more than a conqueror in my name. You think yourself alone, but if you would quiet your heart, you would hear my whisper at your ear, even when the world falls silent. I am in every heartbeat, in every breath, in the moments when you feel no one understands and no one loves. I am there not merely to watch, but to hold you, to dry your tears, and to set a smile again upon your lips. Loneliness is only an illusion when you forget that I am always near. You think you have no future, that all hope has evaporated, but look at my hands. These are the very hands that hold each moment of your life. The future is not a dim, empty void. It is a bright horizon I have already woven. Even when you cannot see the path, keep walking, for I am opening the way. Even when you are afraid, trust that every step you take is guided by the one who never errs. You do not need to know all that will happen. You need only know that I am there, and that is enough. You think you are a failure, that every effort is meaningless. But in my eyes, you are the beloved, a precious jewel amid the mud of life. The world may scorn or turn away, but I do not change. My love for you is not measured by success or failure, but by the worth I placed in you at creation. When you stumble, I do not despise you. I stoop to lift you up. When you lose your way, I do not abandon you. I wait in patience for your return. Stop comparing. Stop counting your failures, for in each fall I am teaching you how to soar higher. You think you are too broken to be loved again, that a cracked heart cannot be mended. But I am the one who turns ashes into beauty and ruins into hope. I do not grow weary of fragments, for I can already see the new form being fashioned from them. You feel yourself dissolving, yet in my hands you are being remade. Your fractures are no longer marks of weakness, but witnesses to grace the very places where light enters and heals. You think you are dying, but I am the life that never fades. I breathe my breath into what you believed had withered. I awaken dreams you thought were dead. Death no longer has power over you, for I have conquered it. Each morning you rise is proof that life still flows in you, that I am still at work. Live not only by the beat of your heart, but by faith, by gratitude, by a gaze lifted toward the wellspring of eternity. You think you are falling into an abyss, but I am the sure foundation you can cling to. When the ground gives way beneath your feet, remember that I do not crumble. Even if you lose everything, I remain your safe foothold. Anchor your faith in me, for that is the one place the storm cannot touch. In the tempest, I do not promise to still the wind, but I promise to hold your hand and see you through. You think you are lost, but you have never left my sight. I am the way, the true direction when you wander the labyrinth of this world. When you no longer know to turn left or right, be still and let your heart hear my gentle call. Follow me. My path is not always easy, but it always leads to peace. You think you are sinking, but I am the breath and the life that lifts you above the deep sea of despair. When tears mingle with the waves and you think you cannot breathe, draw a long breath of my grace, and you will find yourself upheld. I will not let you drown, for I once walked upon those waters, and I know well how to keep you safe. You think you are unworthy, that my love is too great for you to receive. It is precisely because you are weak, because you cannot save yourself, that I came. I make you worthy, not by your merit, but by my boundless mercy. Do not strive to become perfect to deserve me, for in your very imperfection I am glorified. You are a work in progress that I never cease to perfect. Every scar, every mistake, every tear becomes the material with which I paint the masterpiece of love. This is what I do. I turn weakness into strength, sin into blessing, night into dawn, and those who seem to have lost everything into bearers of hope. This is who I am, the faithful one, the healer, the love that loves to the end. I have come not only to redeem, but that you may live fully, so that each day you awaken, you can smile and say, I am no longer afraid, for you are with me. Remember this, all you think of yourself is but a shadow of the truth. The truth is that you are loved, chosen, called, and held within my embrace. When you understand this, fear dissolves and every burden grows light, for you know you no longer walk alone. I am the source and the goal, the breath and the dawn, the promise that never changes. And I have come so that you may know love is real, hope is not lost, and that even among the ashes a flower of grace can still bloom. Beloved child, listen in the stillness of your soul, where the gentle wind of the Spirit still whispers words of life. I know what encircles you, how the darkness slips into the smallest recesses of that tender heart. It keeps watch without ceasing, waiting for your weariness, for the slackening of faith to sow seeds of doubt. It never arrives wearing a frightening face, but drapes itself in the softness of counterfeit sympathy, in counsel that seems reasonable, in a friendly smile, as cold as midnight. It stirs old memories to awaken pain, uses failure to rouse self-contempt, lulls you in quiet moments into the dream of complacency. It never stops seeking to make you forget that you belong to me, that you were born of love and not of fear. Yet remember, my love never sleeps. From the moment I knit you in your mother's womb, every fiber of your soul was touched by the breath of life. Through every moment you live on this earth, I am near. Not a single tear falls unseen, not a single sigh rises unheard. When you tremble in the dark, I stand there still patiently, waiting for you to recognize your own light. The evil one can paint glittering mirages, but it cannot create light. It can only reflect the light I placed within you, twisting it until you mistake the dark for safety. It offers brief pleasures and shallow warmth, just to make you forget the true source of joy life lived in my embrace. Child, do not fear the long nights, for it is in the night that my light burns brightest. Do not let the world's clamor make you forget the gentle sound of your own soul. I do not demand perfection of you. I ask only that you be honest with yourself and dare to face the wounds I long to heal. You do not need strength to come to me, only the courage to be weak before me, for in that very weakness my power is made known. The schemes of the enemy succeed only when you forget that I am here. It wants you to believe I am far away, that your prayers fall into the void, that all effort is useless. But the truth is this: the moment you barely call my name, I answer in silence, with mercies not yet seen, with a hidden comfort you have not yet recognized. Every step you take, even the wandering ones I follow, I do not let a single footprint be swallowed by the desert of loneliness. When you fall, I do not accuse. I stoop to lift you, brush the dust from your face, and whisper, you are still mine. Darkness may howl, but it cannot cover eternal light. When I step in, chains fall and fear dissolves. Do not seek strength in the world, for it offers only broken fragments. Come to me, the inexhaustible spring of life. When you abide in me, no power can harm you. The evil one trembles at my name, for it knows its plans are only children's games played in a fleeting moment. It wants you to believe your past defines you, but I declare that the past has no claim on a soul I have chosen. It wants you to stare at your wounds and forget the hand that heals. It wants you to drown in memory, but I call you out of it toward a future where the light does not fade. Child, I am the beginning and the end, the first song of dawn, and the final breath of the cosmos. Nothing begins outside my will, and nothing can end until I decree it. All that you face, trials, pains, long silences, rests in my hands. The evil one may scatter fear, but it cannot touch the destiny I have appointed. It can startle you, but it cannot destroy you. Do you know why I permit it to test you? Because only through testing is faith refined. Only in the storm does the soul discover where true refuge lies. I do not want you to live in fear. I want you to know that in the very heart of darkness, I remain the light that does not die. When temptation rises, do not fix your gaze on your frailty. Look to me, the one who conquered it before the ages began. Do not be confounded by its whispers. Do not trust sweet words that hide an abyss. It knows how to make pain a weapon and loneliness a chain. But remember, every chain breaks when you call upon me with your whole heart. I am not far. I am beside you in every breath, in every heartbeat. When you tremble, I am peace. When you doubt, I am truth. When you are weak, I am strength. When you are lost, I am the way. Do not let the darkness make you forget this. You may lose everything, but never lose me. For if you still have me, you still have all. The world may change and people may betray, but my love for you never changes. It does not come and go like the wind. It stands as firm as the bedrock of the universe. Though you fall into the depths, my arm is long enough to draw you up. However many times you stray, my heart remains open, waiting for the moment you return. Do not think you have disappointed me. I do not expect your perfection. I desire your sincerity. When you weep honestly before me, I receive it as the most beautiful prayer. When you confess your need of me, that is when you are strongest. Be brave and rise, for the power I have placed within you was not given, so you would bow to fear, but so you would overcome. Look up, not down. Walk by faith, not by feeling. Remember, not every darkness is real. Often it is only an illusion cast when my light is hidden by the clouds of doubt. Hold fast in faith and the clouds will lift, and my light will blaze again, as on the first day I called you by name. I know you are tired. I know you have tried. I have counted every secret tear. Let me dry them. Let me gather you into my arms, so that however cold the world may be in me, there is a warm place kept just for you. I do not promise that you will never meet sorrow, but I promise that in every sorrow you will never be alone. When you walk through the desert, I will be cool water. When you wander the night, I will be a lamp. When you collapse, I will be the arms that lift you. Believe not with reason alone, but with all your heart, for when you believe, the darkness loses its power. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the place you come from and the home to which you return. When I am with you, no power can subdue you and no snare can bind you. You were made for the light, and that light does not go out. Though the evil one may roar, it is only an echo in the void. When I speak, the universe falls silent. When I touch, time stands still. And when I stand with you, nothing can stand against you. Walk on, child of light, for the darkness was defeated the moment you chose to believe. I have seen humanity stray from me, carrying the wound of rebellion, moving through a world once fashioned for harmony, but now full of thorns, tears, and fear. Trees that once rejoiced in the wind now bow beneath the weight of the curse. The earth that once yielded fragrant fruit now demands sweat and tears. Life that was once innocent now groans for the day of freedom. Everything changed when humankind chose the lie over love's voice. Yet amid the ruin, my love did not vanish. It is not a dying lamp, but an ember banked beneath the ground, waiting to flame. I saw Adam's despair when he grasped what he had lost. I heard Eve's midnight cry as she watched her children suffer for her fault. And within those tears, the seed of salvation began to sprout. I did not forget my covenant, though humanity forgot. I entered their history by the smallest ways, a lamb slain, smoke rising from an altar, a cry in the wilderness, a prophecy ringing through time. From generation to generation I walked with them, not in blinding splendor, but in the hearts of those who sought light within the dark. When Noah built an ark in the desert and the world mocked, I was there. When Abraham left his homeland, walking with only a promise, I held his hand. When Moses stood before the Red Sea, with the enemy thundering behind, I was the wind that split the waters for my people to pass through. That history is not a string of random disasters. It is the long song of a love that does not retreat. Though people fell again and again, I pursued them still, like the father who runs to meet the prodigal from afar, not waiting to accuse, but running to embrace. I saw humanity spill blood on altars, thinking peace could be purchased with the bodies of beasts. Yet those sacrifices were only shadows. I let them learn that the blood of sheep and cattle cannot cleanse guilt. Only the innocent one bearing the sins of many could erase the ancient sentence. And I prepared this across long ages, in every line of prophecy, in every symbol, in every breath of hope. I sowed into the world the promise of one who would come, not as a proud king, but as bread broken for the many. Not astride a war horse, but seated on a donkey. Not crowned with gold, but with thorns. When my son came, he was not born in a palace, but in a foul-smelling manger, to prove that true glory needs no veil of luxury. He came to heal and to reveal my compassion. He touched the leper, raised the weak, wept with the grieving, forgave the traitor. In every gesture and every glance, he unveiled my heart, a love without regret, without measure, without condition. Still, humanity did not understand. They nailed my son to the cross, thinking they could extinguish the light, but there the light blazed brightest. The cross was not defeat, but love's great victory. As my son's blood fell to the earth, each drop rang out like a call to reconciliation, like a bell awakening wandering souls. Sin seemed to triumph, yet it was overthrown in the very instant it appeared to win. Death lost its power, for on the third day he stepped from the tomb, breaking its chains. That was the day I sealed the new covenant, not etched on stone, but written in blood upon the human heart. From then on, whoever believes and receives is called a child, no longer an outcast. But humanity is still humanity, frail, forgetful, easily suspicious. Freed, they drift back to chains. Forgiven, they live as debtors still. Many say I am distant and silent, but I am speaking still in the wind, in songs, in the small moments of a life. I speak when the sun rises, when the rain falls, when a heart suddenly feels remorse, when a stranger opens a helping hand. I speak in pain and loss, in the tiniest joys. Yet to hear you must be still humble and stop. I do not shout above the noise, I whisper in the quiet. And humanity today, in a world drowned in noise, finds it harder than ever to hear me. They chase success, power, in the flesh, forgetting that their souls are thirsty. They paint on the mask of happiness, but when night falls in the quiet of their solitude, they know they are empty. Sin no longer wears the form of the ancient serpent, yet it still whispers with the same voice, "You do not need him, you are enough on your own." That voice threads its way through the web, through the cities, through hurried dreams, and many have believed it. Yet amid that torrent of chaos, there are still those who catch a call as soft as a passing breeze, a call inviting them to come home. I wait for them, not with whip or rod, but with open arms. They do not know that from ages past until now, every event, every turning of history has been moving toward one thing: I want them to return. The suffering they endure is not because I desire their pain, but because they choose paths that stray from the source of life. I created them for love, for communion, for true freedom. But true freedom exists only within love, not in rebellion. They imagine that resisting me is freedom, yet soon they become slaves to their own desires. Today's world is the proof humanity masters technology and science, even reaches into space, and yet forfeits peace. They seek truth apart from me and find only darkness. They seek love apart from me and meet only what is fleeting. They seek life, and the farther they go, the more lost they become. Still, I have never grown weary. I keep knocking at every heart. When you lift your eyes to the sky and feel your spirit stirred, it is I who am calling. When you sense your sin and feel the need for forgiveness, it is I drawing near. When you sit in despair and a small hope suddenly springs up, it is I sowing the seed of life. I am still here, as I was in the beginning, in the Garden of Eden, walking in the cool of the day, calling your name. I have never left. You need only turn back, only say, Lord, here I am, and every wall will fall, and every darkness will flee. Therefore, that story from Eden to the cross, from the fall to restoration, is not merely distant history, but the journey of every soul. Each person bears a garden within the heart, a place where they are invited to choose between trust and doubt, between love and rebellion, between life and death. I do not force, for true love never coerces, yet I long for each one like a shepherd who leaves the 99 to search for the one who is lost. I know your name, I know your tears, I know even the things you do not dare to speak, and I still love, still wait, still believe that you will return. One day, when you realize that every path without me ends in nothingness, when you lay down the self and open your heart, you will understand that grace is not a reward for the flawless, but a gift for those who know they need saving. Then you will see that I am not far. I have been present in your breath, in your heartbeat, in every tear that falls. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the light that pierces every night, the Father who seeks the lost child in this vast world. And when you come home, Eden will open again, not as a physical place, but within your soul, where you and I walk together once more in the evening, breeze unashamed, unafraid, with only the pure love of the beginning, the love that conquered even death to find you again. I tell you that in every stumble, do not see the period at the end of the journey, but the beginning of a homecoming. Each fall is a mirror, showing the places still weak within you, the wounds yet unhealed in your soul. When you see others turning away, do not be crushed. Understand that even in those widening steps, I am gently calling you to draw nearer. When you see someone believe a lie, do not despise or fear them, for it is only to remind you that I have entrusted you with the light of truth, which no one can steal if you hold it with all your heart. When you see them fail because of a wrong choice, remember that your victory will also come from a right decision, small perhaps, but laid upon the foundation of faith and true love. When you see death enter the world, do not be afraid, for I once entered death itself, and from that darkness sowed the seed of life. In the place of curse I bore every burden. Where there was division I set the bridge of peace. Where death abounded I planted life. Where darkness loomed I lit the light. And at the far edge of despair I sowed hope. This is not the tale of some distant past, but your story today, the story of a soul called to rise from the ashes, to live and to shine. I do not call you into the darkness of ignorance, but lead you into the clear light of understanding, where you may know without pride and comprehend, while guarding a humble heart. I do not call you to fear, for in perfect love there is no fear. Only faith makes you strong, only trust bids you step forward when the road ahead is still shrouded in mist. I do not leave you in the chasm of your fall, but call you to stand dust off the road's grime, lift your head, and continue. For what I have placed within you is not weakness, but the strength of a soul born to overcome. You were not made to live in the half-light, but to shine in my radiance. Darkness cannot swallow the light, nor can it touch you if you keep that light within. I do not call you to walk in shame, for shame is only the shackle of the past. I call you to walk in my righteousness, in the freedom of one who knows they are forgiven. Every wound ceases to be a stain and becomes a testament to a love that has triumphed. You were not born to be chained by failure, but to live in freedom, true freedom. Not the shallow liberty of the flesh, but the liberty of the soul, where you are no longer ruled by fear, by judgment, or by the gaze of the world. I do not call you to death, but to life, not merely to breath, but to a life brimming with meaning, where each morning you awaken knowing you are loved, chosen, and sent to love. Therefore, child, when you look back on the ruins, see not only pain, see my hand quietly rebuilding. When you feel lost, do not fear, for in that very loneliness you will hear my voice more clearly than ever. When you are weak, remember that I have been strong for you. When you are weary, come to me, and I will give you rest. When you have nothing left to cling to, take my hand, for I have never gone away. You are not alone in this journey. Every step, every tear, every moment you want to give up, I see it all, and I walk with you. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. It is precisely in your imperfections that my love is made complete. For I love not because you are worthy, but because I chose you before you ever chose me. Let your heart grow gentle. Do not fear to weep, for tears do not weaken you. They wash the dust from your eyes so you can see more clearly. Let the past drift away like a leaf returning to its root. Let your faults become the rain that nourishes new seeds of hope. You are called not to linger over what is lost, but to look toward what is coming. I do not want you merely to exist. I want you to live fully, truly, with the joy of one who knows they are loved without condition. For I am not only the one who created you, I am the one who grows with you through every fissure of this life. Each time you fall, I do not look on you with reproach, but with the tender gaze of a father who sees his child learning to stand. Each time you err, I do not push you away. I spread my arms to receive you, then teach you that true love never keeps score. You think I am far, but I am very near in your breath and the beating of your heart. In every moment your soul is moved by what is good. Do not let the world's clamor drown out the sound of grace. The world may call you by false names, but I call you by your true name, the name known only to you and me, a name written in light. It is the name of a soul redeemed, of a person no longer defined by failure but by love. So when the storm comes, do not fear, for I am there in the tempest. When you pass through the fire, do not be anxious, for the flames cannot consume you, they only refine you. When darkness gathers around you, remember that a single small flame is enough to scatter the thickest night. Let faith lead you, not fear. Let hope lift you, not the past drag you down. Let my love become the very breath of your days. You are the living proof that where death once reigned, I have sown life. Where there was estrangement, I have raised the bridge of reconciliation. Where shadow lay, light now overflows. You are a new page in the story of grace, a story not written with ink, but with blood, with tears, and with faith. I have begun in you a good work, and I will bring it to completion. Do not fear, do not doubt, for you need never walk alone again. I am in you, and you are in me. The old has passed away, and all things are becoming new. Therefore, my child, step forward, not with trembling feet, but with courage, not with a heavy heart, but with eyes set toward the light. For this journey is not one of failure, but of transformation. You are no longer of the darkness, but a child of the light. No longer a prisoner of the past, but a bearer of the future. No longer bound by sin, but free in grace. And when you understand this, you will see every wound that once caused you pain becomes the place where light enters. Every loss that once brought you low becomes the soil where new life springs forth. For I have called you not to a life of mere survival, but to fullness. Not to fear, but to love. Not to collapse, but to rise. Not to sink into shadow, but to become a light for others. This is your story, our story, a story that never ends, for it is written in eternity. When humanity tore itself from the loving hand of the Creator, a deep fissure opened within the soul. They imagined that knowledge would be the key to freedom, that power and learning would lift them to the realm of the divine. But they did not know that in the very moment they plucked the forbidden fruit, they forfeited what was most precious, the Father's presence, the warmth of intimacy, the peace of unreserved trust. The price of the wisdom the serpent poured into their ears was loneliness, a hidden fear that hems them in a life cut off from the source. They chose self-reliance over dependence, control over obedience, the shadow of counterfeit freedom over true love. And from then on, humanity set out on a long, weary road, each step marked by striving fatigue and a hollowness nothing on earth can fill. The evil one, with cunning subtlety, never ceases to lay out glittering wares before the human soul, knowledge to exalt the self-power, to dominate fame, to be applauded wealth, to be esteemed control, to feel strong and pleasures, to numb the conscience. He offers it all, yet in return he demands the only thing that belongs to eternity, your soul. He wants unconditional submission and bids humanity to worship him through acts that seem harmless, a single lie, a small greed, a compromise that appears accidental. Behind every such choice lies a transfer of authority, another opening of the door for darkness to enter. He does not come with horns and a tail, as we imagine, but in the guise of convenience, of rationality, of what is called modern freedom. He makes people believe they are steering their own lives when in truth they are straying ever deeper into his net. When Adam and Eve fell, the ground was cursed. Pain became woven into existence, and death reigned like a ruthless king. Yet at the far edge of despair, a promise remained, the promise of one who would come to redeem all things. That word did not sound like a passing breeze. It throbbed like a hidden pulse through the generations. From Abel's cry to Noah's great ark upon the sea of sin, from Abraham's faith to Moses' staff, from David's throne to the sorrow-laden voices of the prophets, everything pointed to the one to come. That current was never severed, though humanity rebelled again and again, though sin flooded the earth time after time, though the darkness seemed to prevail. He came not to a resplendent palace, but to a humble manger. He walked among us, bearing our frailty, touching sickness, tears, and sin, to restore what was lost in the beginning, the intimate fellowship between the Creator and his creatures. On Calvary's hill, where wind and blood commingled, he died shouldering the sins of all humankind. But death could not hold him. Within the tomb, life stirred and rose. He was raised, shattering the chains of death and opening the way back to heaven. In that moment, the whole of history was rewritten. Sin was no longer destiny, darkness no longer the end. And yet, though the door of redemption stands wide open, many still turn their backs. They hear without hearing, see without recognizing. They choose to live in the gray of compromise, where sin is draped in the robe of reason, where not ready yet becomes the alibi for endless delay. The devil whispers, "Tomorrow you will change. Tomorrow you will return." But tomorrow never comes, for every postponement tightens the cords around the soul. He knows he need not compel a public denial of God. He need only foster procrastination, lull with ambiguity, and rock to sleep with the feeling of there is still time. Thus, souls are stolen one by one, not by a screaming assault, but by the soft lullabies of self-satisfaction. Therefore the call still resounds. Now is the time. Today is the day of salvation. While breath remains in your chest, while the light still shines, this is the moment to come home. Every passing minute is grace, an opportunity to step out of the shadows and say, "I have come to the end of myself. I need you." The devil trembles when a soul begins to awaken, when a human heart remembers its first calling. He knows that the instant you turn, his power dissipates like smoke. Look again at the pattern of Scripture. Humanity doubts God's word, believes a lie, desires what is forbidden, and at last crosses the line. Today it continues, only in different dress. Instead of a forbidden fruit, it is power, money, beauty, fame, knowledge. They open their hearts to the voice of pride. Let desire take the throne, let fear lead the way, let ambition seize the reins, and little by little they hand the keys of the soul to the dark. In that exchange, first love fades, faith wavers, peace dissolves, and they become weary travelers in an endless desert of emptiness. Yet among the wandering souls, embers still glow. Hope is not dead. Faith has not burned out. In every heart, however, cracked there echoes an ancient promise that the Redeemer has come, that his blood is still sufficient to wash away every sin, that his arms are still outstretched to welcome the prodigal home. When he rose, hope rose. When he ascended, the promise was sealed. When the Holy Spirit was poured out, the new covenant was ratified with living power. Now we are no longer defined by our past, no longer shackled by sin, but may be born anew, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, but by the Spirit of God. This is true freedom, true life, the communion Adam and Eve lost, and which is now restored. Therefore do not seek meaning in what decays. Do not look for peace in what only breeds turmoil. Do not search for identity in the gaze of the crowd. Your true identity is forged in the eyes of the one who formed you, in the hands that have engraved your name, in the love that does not change no matter how often you stumble. He does not wait for you to be flawless before he loves. He loves in order to make you whole. And when you return, you will find that every yearning of your heart to be loved, to be known, to truly live, can be satisfied in him alone. Every other road ends in a dead end. Every other promise is a mirage. But this love, this grace is real, eternal, the only power strong enough to draw you up from the abyss of despair. So come, let your heart be melted, let your tears wash away the long-gathered dust. For he is waiting still, and heaven stands open to welcome you home. Even so, amid the thousand crossroads of history, humanity keeps choosing, persisting on the way it believes is right, though light has often revealed the limits. From the beginning, when Cain raised his hand against Abel, darkness sowed the seed of rebellion in the human heart. Cain's offering was not rejected for lack of form, but because his soul had run dry of purity. He offered with calculation, not with a bowed heart. Jealousy fanned its fire within him, and he forgot that the holy is not in the gift but in the heart that bows before the Creator. He heard my voice, yet his heart was stone. He chose silence, chose action, chose the spilling of his brother's blood. From that moment, a long chapter of error opened in human history. Not only Cain, but multitudes after him walked the same path, the path of pride of souls, so self-exalted, they no longer tremble before the holy. Each generation repeats the old tragedy, in a new shape, greed dressed as aspiration, rebellion justified as freedom. I gave the law to Moses so the people might live within the order of grace, so they would know the border between good and evil, life and destruction. But humanity, with hearts made heavy and ears trained to the serpent's whisper, chose resistance. They wanted to see the divine with naked eyes, to grasp the sacred, to fashion a god they could control. So they cast a golden calf, a bright image flashing in the sun, yet hollow of soul. They sang around it and whirled in the ecstasy of themselves, imagining they touched the divine while bowing only to their own desires. That golden calf is more than an object. It is the emblem of all that humanity still worships: power, prestige, money, the flesh. Such things make people feel secure and shielded, yet they are only glittering chains that bind the soul in darkness. They murmured when trials came, complained when manna did not fall quickly enough, forgetting that grace does not come to indulge but to purify. When faith wavers, the devil does not need to knock. He slips through the crack of doubt and whispers lies that persuade them they can live without the one who made them. The door of faith swings shut and the dark begins to spread. Generation after generation walks on in a mist of error, imagining themselves free while wandering lost. They no longer hear the call of primordial love. They no longer recognize that every word spoken and every command given is not to enslave but to redeem. They cross the boundary thinking happiness lies beyond, only to find at the end a bottomless emptiness of loneliness. In that darkness, people still seek the light, yet fear that light will lay bare the stains of the heart. They erect more idols, not of gold or silver, but of words of reasoning, of proud knowledge. They worship the self, enthroning it at the center of the universe, believing they can define good and evil for themselves, determine life and death at will. Each step they take makes the Creator's call grow fainter, receding like an echo lost in the desert. Humanity still fancies it can master destiny, sever the cord that ties it to its sacred origin. But the more it runs, the more hollow the heart becomes. Without light, every effort is a circling in the dark. Civilizations rise and fall like sand peaks, erased by the winds of time. Mighty walls and ringing declarations crumble into dust. History repeats the lesson: when people forget the one who breathed life into them, they shut themselves away from peace. The devil does not need to shout, he need only whisper, and in the thirst for power and the fear of loss, people are eager to listen. They draft their own laws, break them, then draft new ones to justify the old sins. They speak of virtue while hearts seethe with envy. They praise freedom while enslaved to their passions. They talk of peace while their hands drip with blood. Each generation is born with noble longings, and each in turn is drawn into the old spiral of pride. Perhaps the greatest tragedy of the human race is not the fall itself, but the forgetting that we were once loved. As the memory of that love fades, we substitute counterfeits: praise, power, knowledge, fleeting joys. And so instead of turning back, we walk farther into the barren wilderness, where every echo is our own voice, where we can no longer tell what is true and what is illusion. Yet deep within the soul, a spark remains small, fragile but unextinguished. It is the hazy memory of Eden, of the morning, when humanity knew no fear and spoke with God in the wind. That very spark makes even the far strayed sometimes pause, feeling a nameless ache pierce the heart. It is the homesickness for the holy homeland they have forgotten, the longing for the unconditional love they have lost, and perhaps that longing will be the slender thread that draws them home. Though they rebelled and forgot, human beings were fashioned by love, and that love has never been lost. It is only veiled by the dust of time, of sin, of pride. Once they are willing to blow that dust away, the light will flare again. Yet to reach that moment, they must pass through many long nights of remorse and many tears of brokenness, for only when the soul has learned to ache does it learn to plead. Only when pride collapses can a person finally fall to their knees. And perhaps in that very hour, the light of grace will return, not as a violent bolt of lightning, but as a dawn that quietly dissolves the night. Humanity will remember that we were not born to walk in darkness, but to mirror the light. And when that truth is recognized, the chain of error across generations can be loosed, for a heart that turns back is stronger than 1,000 years of revolt. My child, listen deeply, for what I am about to say is not merely a warning, but a call arising from the innermost heart of the one who loved you before you knew how to love. From the beginning, the adversary's tactics have never changed. He only changes his garments to fit the fashions of each age. He comes not with ferocity, but with mildness, with an argument that seems compassionate, with a whisper as gentle as the breeze. He does not command you to rebel. He only sows a question. Did it really happen that way? And from the moment you permit that seed of doubt to take root, you have already walked halfway out of the light. The devil creates nothing new. He only knows how to bend the good, to mix truth with falsehood, to repaint light in the colors of shadow. He renders the wrong agreeable and the right hard to believe. He stirs in you the feeling of being loved, understood, and free, while he is weaving chains out of your deepest longings. When you crave recognition, he fans pride. When you seek meaning, he makes you forget your source. When you are weary, he offers shortcuts. And when you think you are grasping freedom, you are already bound in his deceit. Know, my child, that within every surge of feeling, the evil one seeks a gap to slip through. He exploits pride to make you forget humility, lust to cloud your reason, fear to drive you from the light. He feeds envy to set your heart ablaze, and uses shame to make you hide your face from my love. He never arrives with a scream, but with a lullaby. It's fine. Everyone does it. And within that phrase, the line between good and evil is blurred. A small step away from me today becomes an abyss tomorrow. Yet, my child, you are not destined by the lineage of those who fell. I call you not to dwell forever in the ashes of your faults, but to step out of the garden that was lost and enter the stronghold I am raising, where life springs from cinders, where clear water runs through the bedrock of fidelity, where every soul is reborn. But to cross that threshold, you must recognize the first fall and understand that its tragedy is not a tale of old, but a mirror for every soul today. When you look into it, you will learn where the boundary lies and why obedience is the pathway to freedom. Long ago, Eve faced a single test to obey or not to obey. Today, you face thousands of tests, hundreds of voices, myriads of open doors. Yet the principle remains unchanged. Whom will you trust, me, or that whisper, I do not coerce you, for true love never compels? Nor does the devil force you. He simply lures you with what you like so that you choose against the truth yourself. He promises power, happiness, and freedom, but in the end he hands you chains gilded with gold. When you believe him, you betray not only the Creator, but your own soul. Remember Eve. She had my word, yet she chose feeling over faith. She saw that the forbidden fruit was beautiful, that it seemed reasonable, and she trusted the serpent more than she trusted me. You shall be like God. That lie still echoes today in every advertisement, every promise, every philosophy devised to replace belief. Humanity repeats the same sin under different names. We want to define good and evil for ourselves, to live without me, to wield power without grace. We claim to trust in progress in the self, in reason, forgetting that I sowed those very seeds within you. And so, while thinking we are creating, we only bite the forbidden fruit once more. My child, I ask you, do you know my word? Do you hear it, or do you let it pass by like wind brushing the ear? Only when my word is engraved in your heart like fire upon stone will you be safe from deception. The devil will distort it, render it implausible, make you think I am far off and severe. But truth never grows old, and light never fades. My word is the boundary, the sword, the lamp that pierces the night. If you keep my word, you will stand firm. If you walk in my word, you will not lose your way. If you revere my word, darkness will find no lodging in you. To fear me is not to cower before punishment, but to tremble with love. When you dread grieving the one who has loved you with his very life, that is holy fear. My commands are not prisons, but protection, not confinements, but release. My word is not a chain, but a city wall that keeps you from the brink. It is not a burden, but wings that carry you through the storm. You live in an age where darkness wears the mask of light, where sin is named freedom, where self-interest is crowned as courage, where faith is mocked and purity despised. Do not be afraid, for I am still here, nearer than you imagine. The moment you turn back, the moment you call my name in your heart, I will run to embrace you, as a father embraces a child who finds the way home. There is no abyss too deep, no sin too heavy, no night too dense for my light to reach. But you must choose. No one can choose for you. Either you take my hand, or you take the hand of my enemy. There is no road between. Rise, my child. Be watchful and strong. Let my word live in you. Do not merely read it. Live it, breathe it, act it. In the battle of this age, the enemy does not come from without, but from the human heart itself. If you keep my word, you will overcome. If you let my word illumine your soul, you will become a torch for others. And when darkness swells, you will stand as witness that light cannot be extinguished. Remember, I have chosen you not for fear, but to bear the light. When you choose me, you choose truth, life, and true freedom. When you choose me, you choose your truest self, the whole being I dreamed of when I breathed the first breath into the world. Hear me, my child, for the whisper of shadow still prowls with every heartbeat and every breath. But if your heart is mine, if you remain steadfast in my word, no darkness can snatch you from my hand. Take courage, for light, always triumphs, and you, if you keep my word, will never lose the road home. My child, listen in the deepest chamber of your heart, where the world's clamor fades and only my whisper remains gentle, yet mighty, lifting you from ash and ruin. You once believed yourself small, unequal to the tempests of life, yet you did not know that my strength was placed within you from your first moment of being. When you tremble in the dark, I am the flame that never dies. When you are weak, I am the hidden wings in the wind, bearing you over mountains of despair. You are not alone, and you have never been forsaken. Before your first breath, I knew your name, chose you among multitudes, and engraved you upon the palms of my hands, where no other hand can reach. When you look back, you may see only mistakes, wounds, and the times you fell with no one to lift you. But I see something else, a journey woven with perseverance, with tears, and with grace. You think the past is a chain, yet it is only your teacher, stern but honest. So you may cherish the present and learn to rise from the very ground where you fell. You are not your sins, not your scars, not your failures. You are the fruit of steadfast love of one who chose to love you, while knowing every hidden corner. Child, darkness cannot possess a soul I have redeemed. I have entered the deepest chambers of night and touched the uttermost edge of sorrow to open the door for you to step into the light. Though you may feel hemmed in and the world be shrouded in shadow, my light still shines, not loud, not blinding, but steady and strong enough to lead you out of the trance. Darkness holds no power except when you cease to believe in the light. Rise, my child, and believe that you were born not to sink but to shine, not merely to exist but to live fully in my love. You thought yourself alone, that none understood, none listened, none saw your midnight tears. Yet I was there beside you when you collapsed and could no longer pray. I heard the voice of your heart when your lips were silent. I was in every breath, every heartbeat, every desperate glance. And I did not only watch, I wept with you. I gathered your pain into my arms and turned it into hope. You cannot see me with your eyes, but you can sense me with your heart. When you feel empty, it is the hour I am filling you with my presence. My child, your future is not in the hands of people, nor sealed by doors that have shut. Your future rests in my hands, the hands that lift the sun each morning and once broke the chains of death. You worry because you cannot see the path. I do not ask you to see, only to trust. My way for you is not always easy, but it is always right. There will be storms and long nights, but afterward comes my dawn, where all becomes clear and new. Let me lead you, for I know the places that will mature you and the places that would make you fall. You think yourself a failure, that you are not skilled enough, strong enough, good enough. In my eyes, you need not be enough, for I am your sufficiency. Failure is not the period at the end of your story, but a comma in the great sentence I am writing with you. When you collapse, I do not turn away. I stoop and lay my hand upon your shoulder and whisper, "Rise, beloved, we are not finished." You are loved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are, the child I fashioned with immeasurable love. When your heart feels shattered, remember that I am not afraid of fragments. I am the one who mends what is broken and makes masterpieces from ashes. I do not erase your cracks, for through them my light can pour forth. True beauty is not found in flawlessness, but in wounds made whole. Let me touch your pain, hide it no longer. Only when you place it in my hands can I work wonders. When life within you feels dim, remember that I am the source of life. I am the breath that nourishes your soul, the cool stream that waters the desert of your heart. You are not dying. You are being reborn in my transforming work. I am shedding the old casing, so you may live true, live in light, in freedom, in courage. Do not fear what must be surrendered, for what I give is always better than what you lose. Every breath you draw is proof that I am here and that you belong to me. When you feel yourself falling, know that there is no abyss so deep that my hand cannot reach. You do not fall into nothingness. You fall into my arms, the safest place in every storm. I am the unshakable foundation, the rock on which to stand when the ground gives way. Believe that, though all around you dissolves, I do not change. In a world forever shifting, I alone remain. When you lose your way, remember I am not merely the guide, I am the way. You need not understand everything. You need only take my hand. I will lead you through the bends and the shadows to the place where light never wanes. Being lost is not the terror. The terror is forgetting that I am seeking you. Each time you stop, I come closer, calling your name in the voice only your soul can recognize. You feel yourself sinking, yet I am the breath within you, the strength that keeps you afloat upon the roughest seas. When your tears mix with the waves, let me be the ocean that holds you fast and will not let you fade. I once walked upon the waters, and I know how to make you stand even in the storm. Do not fear the great waves, for I am there with you, and every wave must bow to my name. You deem yourself unworthy, thinking my love too high to reach. But precisely because you feel unworthy, you are the one my grace seeks out. I did not choose you because you were perfect. I chose you so that my love might make you whole. I do not love you because you are clean. I love you in order to cleanse you. No one is too far for me to touch, no one too ruined for me to love. My love does not demand your proof, only that you open your heart to receive. Child, this is what I do, turn ashes into glory, mourning into song, pain into a witness to unchanging love. This is who I am, the Eternal One, the one who never abandons, the one who waits for you at every bend in the road. I have come not only to rescue, but to make you know that true love is not mere words, but action, an action that nailed me to the cross for you. Let your heart rest in this. Stop running, stop trying to save yourself. Be still and hear my whisper. You are loved. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever your past has been, I still call you my beloved. Nothing can separate you from my love, no sin, no failure, no night so dark. That love does not tire, does not shrink, does not change. And once you believe this, you will see you were never lost. You were being found. Lift up your head, child, for I am still here, the one who has come, who is, and who will be with you to the very end of time. Beloved child, when you walk through life's tempests, and every voice around you breeds confusion, I still whisper your name, so you remember you are never alone. There are times every door seems shut, and every dream shatters in your hands. You think I am silent, but in that very silence I am at work. I am shaping your heart, teaching you to wait, to stand firm, to love without condition. I am making your faith as steady as bedrock, so that when waves rise, you will not be swept away. My child, the evil one is cunning. He does not come with a roar, but with honeyed whispers. He stirs doubt about goodness and convinces you that you are unworthy of my love. He tells you I have forgotten, that I have gone far away, that your prayers vanish into emptiness. But know this, no prayer falls into a void, no tear is overlooked. I hear it all, see it all, and I hold every sob of yours in the palm of my hand. What you call loss is often my preparation for a greater grace, so that you may learn true love does not spring from this world, but from the realm of everlasting light. I see your striving, your battle with fear and weariness, your clenched teeth through darkened days. But child, I have never been far. Every step you take, I walk with you. Every time you fall, I stoop to lift you up. When you think you are spent, that is when my strength begins to move. When you think you have failed, the seed I planted in you is breaking ground in the quiet. I do not need you to be flawless. I ask you to be truthful. Truthful about your pain, your longing, your limits. For only when you are honest do you open your heart for my touch, so my love may flow through you and heal every wound. The evil one will try every way to drag you back into the past, where your mistakes still leave their marks and accusing voices echo. He wants you to believe you cannot change, that sin has fixed your identity forever. But I say no, you were not made to live in regret, but to rise in redemption. I have rewritten your story with blood and light. The past may leave scars, but I turn scars into witnesses of love. Do not let memory become chains. Let it be a bridge that leads you into true freedom. Child, faith is not the absence of fear. It is stepping forward while still trembling. I do not condemn you when you are weak. I only ask that you not let go. Remember, every fall is not failure, but an opportunity for me to prove that my grace is greater than your sin. Where you see wounds, I see the possibility of healing. Where you see ashes, I see the seed of hope. For I am the one who can turn night into day, tears into pearls, and suffering into a song of triumph. Child, the world may wound you, but do not let it harden you. Keep a tender heart, for that is where I dwell. Love even when it hurts. Forgive even when you are betrayed. For love is the mightiest weapon against the dark. When you love, you stand with me, and the evil one cannot endure that light. He wants you to hate and to close your heart, but I call you to open it to love, to forgive, to receive. Do not let my silence breed your doubt. When I am silent, it is not absence, but the moment I am weaving wonders in the hush. You do not see it, but I am arranging all things like a master craftsman, weaving a beautiful tapestry from tangled threads. From the back it is a snarl. When I finish, you will behold a grand design. For everything I do has purpose, even when you do not yet understand. When the storm rises, do not only ask that it vanish, but ask for the strength to stand within it. For in trial you discover your true strength. In sorrow you recognize the one who never lets go of your hand. Do not fear fierce winds or towering waves, for you have me, the one who stills the wind and calms the sea. At my word, the universe bows. How then can darkness overcome the light I have placed within you? Child, learn to see all things with the eyes of faith. Where you see a dead end, I see a beginning. Where you see despair, I see a chance to reveal my power. Where you see deep night, I see a dawn about to break. You see only the present, but I see the whole. You feel the pain, but I see maturity taking shape within you. Do not be afraid of what you do not grasp. Let me teach you how to trust, even when you cannot see the way. Do you know there are times I long to hold you close and let you feel the rhythm of my heart, yet you are busy chasing the world, seeking love in places that are not yours. You hunt for light in passing eyes, for peace in the noise, for hope in possessions. But all these will fade. Only I remain the one who loves you with an unfading love. Even if you travel to the ends of the earth, I will be there waiting for your return. I have seen your sleepless nights and the times you tried to laugh through tears. I have heard the words you could not speak, and I understand what you cannot express. Child, do not fear when you feel empty, for into that very emptiness I will pour fullness. When you lose everything, that is when you can receive all of me. Do not be troubled when others leave you, for I have never departed. The evil one will press you to believe you are not enough, that you deserve punishment. But I say you are my masterpiece. You were fashioned by the intent of love, not by accident. Though you are frail, you are precious. However many times you fall, I still call you my child. The world may label you, but only I know the true name of your soul, and that name is engraved in light. No one can erase it. Child, walk forward with courage. Though you do not know what the future holds, know that I am already there. You do not need to see the whole road. You need only take my hand. I will lead you sometimes through valleys of tears, sometimes across fields in bloom, but wherever it is, I am with you. Let each day you live be thanksgiving, for in the simplest breath I am still working wonders. And when it seems the dark is closing in, remember, no night lasts forever. Dawn always comes, and I am that dawn. However thick the night, a single ray of my light is enough to scatter it. Believe this, child, for I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. When I stand beside you, every lie fades like smoke. When I speak, the darkness falls silent. When I touch, the barren heart blooms. Child of light, do not be afraid. When you choose to trust, you have already overcome, not by your strength, but by my love within you. Though the world may tremble, you will stand firm, for you are anchored in unfailing love. Live with gratitude, love as I love, forgive as I forgive. One day you will see no battle is meaningless, no tear is wasted, for all things draw you closer to me. And when at last you lift your head, you will see me not distant or dim, but here in every breath and every heartbeat. Then you will understand everything I do, whether trial or blessing, has been to teach you one thing alone, that you are loved forever and without condition. After humankind left the garden of blessedness, I watched the river of human history begin to twist through tears and blood. From the shadowed scene of the fall, I still walked among the generations like an underground current of light quietly soaking the parched soil of humanity. I saw them wrestle between good and evil, mercy and pride, the longing to live and the fear of annihilation. Each person carries within a fragment of Eden's memory, the memory of communion, of my breath of the evening light, where no darkness remained. Though they forget, I do not. Though they turn away, my arms remain open. My love has never wearied, for it does not rest on their merit, but on my very nature, an unchanging love. I have been patient like a farmer awaiting the harvest, watering the world with grace, and waiting for the seed of repentance to sprout. Across ages, people have built cities, founded nations, framed laws, composed songs, won victories, and wrought disasters. They learned to fly the skies and dive the seas, to grasp knowledge in their hands, and the more they knew, the more they forgot me. They enthroned their own intellect and claimed the wisdom to decide good and evil, the very lure once proffered to Adam and Eve. Human history is the garden retold on a grander scale, the old lie scripted in a new tongue, the old darkness wearing the costume of light. They raise temples to the self, worship their own image, and proclaim themselves masters of fate, yet they are wanderers, searching for the voice of mind they have lost. They hunt for happiness in power, in wealth, in the flesh, in fame, things that glitter, but leave the soul hollow the closer they are grasped. For nothing can replace me within you. No material thing can fill the void created by our separation. Only my light can drive out the darkness within. I did not abandon them in that futile searching. I sent prophets, those who dared to stand amid the current of life and speak what is true, though they were stoned, killed, and mocked. I let them bear witness that I was still there, that mercy had not closed its doors. Through them I spoke words of warning, words of promise, shafts of light in the midnight. When my people were exiled, when they wept by the rivers of Babylon, I was with them in their sorrow. I kept speaking, kept promising that a day would come when I would come among them myself, not through intermediaries, not through shadows, but in flesh like theirs. On that day the world would learn what true love is. When the fullness of time arrived, I entered this world in the frail form of an infant. There were no trumpets, no throne, only the cry of a child in the cold night and the warm breath of poor shepherds. Yet from that place my love blazed forth simple and profound, as my son grew among men, lived among sinners, yet was, without sin, touched the leper, without recoil, ate with tax collectors, without disdain. He saw in every soul, though veiled by the dust of life, the imprint of me, and he came to rekindle that spark. My son wept out of compassion, and he taught about the kingdom of heaven not as a distant realm, but as a heart that knows how to love. But humanity, as so often before, did not understand. They feared unconditional love because it asks them to be humbled. They feared grace because grace leaves no room for pride. And they chose to crucify him, thinking they could kill the truth. But love cannot be nailed down. When he suffered death, my anguish was deeper than 1,000 wounds, yet In that sorrow, my plan reached its fulfillment. He bore the sins of all humanity, endured the death that Adam had ushered in, and opened a way home for every generation. When he declared, "It is finished," every barrier between me and my children was torn down. The veil of the temple was split in two, a sign that nothing stands between me and humankind anymore. From then on, whoever wills may come to me, not by ritual, not by merit, but by faith and humility. That grace is the greatest gift I give, a gift no one can purchase and no one can take away. Still, the world turns, and human hearts keep changing. Some listen, some turn their backs, some believe, some mock. Yet I keep knocking. True love does not coerce, it only waits with patience. Like the father in the parable, I still gaze toward the horizon, watching for the silhouette of the returning child. However far you have wandered, however mud-stained your feet may be, the moment you turn back, I will run to hold you. No sin is greater than my grace, no past deeper than my love. Every wound you carry I can heal, every guilt you bear I can wash clean. Today, as humanity faces the very consequences of its rebellion, war, division, deceit, loneliness, many begin to hear a quiet cry within. I need something more. That is my call to them. Not the thunder of heaven, but the sigh in the night, the emptiness amid crowded streets, the longing to be loved without being judged. I have planted that call in the human soul like an undersong that never ceases. Whenever the world feels too heavy, whenever you yearn for a place to be understood and forgiven, that is the sign you are hearing me. And if you open your heart, you will find I am still present. I am not far away, not confined to the clouds, but near in your very breath, in the eyes of the one you love, in the smile of a child, in the forgiveness you extend to another. I am there when you weep over your sin, and I am there when you rise to live a new day. I have never abandoned this world. It is humans who have covered their sight with the veils of reason and doubt. I still walk among humanity, not in splendor, but in quietness, in a hospital where someone prays for a loved one, in a prison where a sinner discovers hope, in the desert of the heart where someone first whispers, "Lord." My love is a river that never runs dry, no matter how many dams of pride people erect. That river finds its way through every crack and crevice into every heart that seemed to have turned to stone. Patiently, it wears down the hard shell of hatred and selfishness until one day green life springs from the driest ground. When you grasp this, you will see that Adam's fall was not a final period, but the beginning of a journey to recover a lost love. Human history in my sight is not merely the tale of sin, but the long pilgrimage of grace, where I keep writing new chapters with tears, blood, and compassion. And the day will come when all is fulfilled, when my Son returns, not as an infant in a manger, but as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Then tears will be wiped away, pain will vanish, and sin will be erased. I will restore Eden not as a geography, but as a heart made whole. There will be no more separation, no more blame, no more fear. Humanity will walk with me again in the evening breeze, in a gentle light and perfect peace. All creation will sing, the seas will exult, the hills will dance, for love has triumphed. Until that day, I keep calling, keep teaching, keep loving. I behold each soul like a pearl in the mire, knowing that once it is cleansed, it will shine. People often judge one another, but I see worth beyond every fault. Each one bears my image, however marred, however wounded. And I keep working within them tenderly and steadfastly like a potter, kneading the clay until a beautiful form appears. In the end, I will complete that work, no one forgotten, no one left behind. Therefore, my child, if you hear my voice today, do not close your heart. Pause amid the haste of life and look back to the root of your soul. Remember that you were made not to live in fear, but in love. You were not born to wander in search of meaning, but to dwell in communion with the one who loved you before you knew how to love. Come home, for I am still waiting as from the beginning beneath the old garden's sunset. There I will call your name again, not with a judge's voice, but with a father's gentle, tender, and everlasting. Now open your heart wide. Let your spirit grow still amid life's clamor, and lift to the Most High a prayer that rises from the deepest place within your soul. Let every word you utter be like a soft fragrance ascending, mingling with the light of inexhaustible love, Father, Creator of heaven and earth, and every soul I bow in humility before your boundless holiness. Forgive the straying steps of humankind, the new Cains among us, those of us who have let jealousy and pride dim the light of grace. We have heard your voice yet turned away. We have seen your love, yet sought the shadows. Grant us eyes that discern the good hands that guard what is holy, and a tender heart to hear your speaking in the silence. May every restless soul find peace in your embrace. Lord, you entrusted the law to Moses not to bind but to illumine. Yet we weak and arrogant have turned grace into chains and forgotten the spirit of the word. Help us understand that every command is not to rob us of freedom, but to keep the soul from the abyss of ruin. Restore in us a reverence for holiness, so that whenever we hear your word, we not only grasp it with the mind, but live it with the heart. I thank you, Father, for your patience with us through generations of rebellion. When we forgot you, you remembered. When we betrayed, you loved. Each dawn bears witness that your mercy never runs dry. Receive this gratitude as incense offered in the long night, small but sincere, fragile, yet filled with trust. I thank you that you did not withdraw your love, even when we were unworthy. You send rain on the just and the unjust, and you give breath to every living thing. I am grateful to live, to be loved, to be called your child. Each passing day, however hard, is another chance to learn to love more, as you have loved me from before all ages. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.